Hey y'all, it's Day. So, I'm going to be doing a reading today. Very excited about this reading, and I am using the Illuminated Earth Oracle. And I got it on Etsy about 4 years ago. The Illuminated Earth Oracle. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Very excited for this reading. I'm nervous also. Like, what? I definitely feel like um, this time period feels like an opportunity for a new chapter. And it kind of feels like for everybody, really. It feels like everybody is going through a transitional period in their life. I feel like the music's too loud. I feel like everybody's going through a transitional period in this life in some way, shape, or form. So maybe this would be a collective reading about that, it feels like. Something about this transitional period makes people feel like more alive. They feel like they're being more of themselves. They're feeling like they are making progress in regards to their self-confidence. Like, it's not easy to believe in yourself or to prevent self-doubt from taking over your mindset. But for whoever this reading is, you kind of have been actively working around dealing with that. So lack of confidence, self-doubt, asserting yourself in a particular area of your life, allowing yourself to be seen, allowing yourself to be the sun in your own way, like being very unique and authentic. So it feels like we are just transitioning. Definitely feels like a new season, a new era. I'm being corrected. I said new season and then I heard new era. Like, wow, it's really happening. Sometimes in the spiritual community, I feel like sometimes when I do listen to certain astrologers or certain tarot readers or certain spiritualists, um, I feel like sometimes certain concepts are overused or repeated so much that it has like lessened the value. And I think that's for me personally. But it's like this idea of like, oh, like new earth, or like, oh, this is a transitional period, and like this threshold. And it always seemed like to me that the threshold continuously gets pushed back. It's just kind of like it's sometimes I feel like some spiritualists are like always make you feel like there's like a hump to get over, or that something is coming to an end or something like that. And I don't think that's necessarily bad, but sometimes I feel like it's overly used, because I think sometimes we should just focus on being present. And it's kind of like repeating itself in a new form. Like if you're someone who if you're someone who like doesn't identify with a certain religion or religion in general, and one of the reasons that you left is because there's always this impeding doom type of energy of like the world's gonna end or we're in our last days. It's like that type of energy, like where you're constantly being reminded that these are the last days, and like just that type of energy, and how sometimes it can be very unhealthful and unhealthy. And I see some of that happening sometimes in the spiritual community. I feel like with certain themes that I feel like maybe these topics are more popular. Uh, I don't know. So yeah, angels, guides, ancestors, God, source, and benevolent energies that stand in truth and love. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for the protection. But my point with that was I feel like right now is truly a transitional period. I feel like we're truly starting a new era. I feel like people secretly know what it is that they're supposed to do. And I feel like there's this energy of like, like there was a lot of time periods where people genuinely didn't know what to do or they didn't know what direction that they want to go in life. But it feels like this type of new era, this type of new energy is like one way or another, everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing. They at least know what they're supposed to be doing or the direction that they're supposed to be going in life. It just giving me this energy of like everybody has already got the call, everybody got the email, like we can see the message was read, like that type of energy. And I feel like from our spiritual teams or from my spiritual team, it's like everybody got the email, like I seen that you read it, like everybody's been called, and it's kind of like a lot last year. There have been certain readings that I did that was just like, we're being called to do this, we're being called to do that. And we had to work through like building up the confidence, and I'm hearing the word trust, building up trust to actually follow this calling and believing that our spiritual team is going to make something of this, or the next step will appear after we've taken this leap, or after we've continued to take steps towards our dream, goals, hopes, wishes, desires, our legacy, our mission, our purpose. So for this oracle deck, the first card that came out on the left of the spread is Epiphany. And this is definitely what it's feeling like, the energy. It just feels like, I'm hearing the word blessed. It just feels like everybody has had their moment of silence. Why did I stutter? Everybody has had their moment of silence, or this event that really put them in a position to like sit with themselves, to understand themselves. Everyone has been shown signs. Everyone has been like heard the call or a call in some sort, whether it's you hear it clairaudiently, or you felt it, or you've been visually seeing synchronicities. Like everybody has been called in their own unique ways. That's what it feels like. And in this image, it's like there is this energy of healing, nurturance, being guided, being protected, having built a solid or a firm foundation that is also actually alive. It's like there's growth there and there's progress. You've documented your progress in some way, shape, or form. Like the progress that you have made is measurable. That's the energy. Like all that we went through last year, all the tests and obstacles, depending on how intentional we were with those things, where that energy that was exerted towards those things is coming back to bless us with. Love that for us. So on the right of this epiphany card, we have the anguish. Anguish. We also have responsibility. Next to that, we have connection. So with these first three cards, with anguish, this is speaking to an aspect I was talking about earlier, which was that like something about what we've all been called to do, or the direction that we've been told or we feel drawn to move in. It makes you feel more alive, even though it's like scary, or even though it's intimidating, or even though it's challenging, nerve-wracking, um, even though you have to put a lot of time, energy, and effort into it. It's like something about doing it, going for it, taking active steps towards it. It also is like you have to admit, it makes you feel a little bit more alive, like you're really doing something, like um, you're a, what's it called? You're a live player. You're not just moving through life like a robot and just taking commands. It's giving free will, exercising your free will, exercising your self-expression, that type of energy. So with the anguish card, it's like it's a really heavy burden when you are constantly hiding aspects of yourself, or not saying what you really want to say, or holding your tongue, or just standing under certain authorities that may or may not be um, treating you fairly. It's like all those things, even though there's a certain level of comfort with conformity and blending in, um, even though there's a certain level of comfort that you have to kind of exchange or give up when you decide to answer this call, pursue your purpose, do what you love. Um, it also like kills something inside of you. It's like some parts of you like start dying, and it becomes very suffocating and weighs you down over time the more that you do it. And you know, also, if you're in this energy of like when you see other people succeeding or striving for them, and you find yourself can't be happy for them, or you get very discouraged, disappointed, like you definitely need to start answering a call, following your dreams, because just like a part of you dies, and that stuff makes you sick. With responsibility, I'm hearing the word gravity. So it's definitely this feeling of being proud of yourself for having taken initiative. It feels like, especially last year, there were a lot of tests and challenges. Um, with this responsibility card, there's this energy of like being proud of yourself. It's definitely giving like somebody survived a boot camp and now they have like their uniform and their badge, they passed training, and it's just like you've been putting in the work, time, energy, effort, discipline, and now you're being rewarded for it. And also like you're just really proud of yourself, and part of that is the reason, or a significant amount of that is the reason why you feel like you're doing something in life, or you're going in some direction. I love how it's like red with the deer, because the red feels like bold, courageous, brave, having spirit, having cultivated personal authority. It's beautiful. Good vibes, good vibes. From our spiritual team's perspective, we are looking in good shape. We're looking like in good shape. Next to that, I said there was connection. And this is definitely speaking to the connection that we have cultivated with ourselves and our spiritual team, as well as our spiritual practices. Those three things are going to be very important. And it feels very like, for some reason, the water feels like air. Like, it feels like so replenishing. Yeah, that's what it feels like, soul replenishing, quenching a thirst. And that is like your connection with God, your connection with your spiritual team, your connection with yourself. It feels like you are being presented an opportunity to like really be aware of those three connections and to find appreciation for it and kind of like marinate in that. Feels very healing. Then we have plants, childhood, transient, and underworld. Very interesting. Let me see. Definitely with the plants, something has been growing. So for metaphorical purposes, like your spirituality, yourself, your soul has been growing, developing, uh, flourishing, prospering. There's live organisms. So that's also representing the growth and the livelihood of what you've been cultivating within yourself, which um, reflects to the outside world. Then we have the childhood card coming up here. Okay, I was like, what is this? So the childhood is representing an emotion of feeling, kind of like feeling subject to. So it is this energy of a child being afraid and feeling like they need protection, but it feels like this child doesn't have parents, or maybe their parents are very distant. And so there's this like kind of fear going on, like this child has been surviving by themselves independently, but they still have that fear in their chest of something happening to them. And I'm hearing the words commercial vehicle, so someone having the ability to move from one stage of their life to the next. So it's giving me this feeling of like being afraid, scared, and I was hearing the word career. So whoever this reading is for, this may be related to their career or what they're wanting to do with their life. They're worried about punishment. I'm hearing backlash. Someone's worried about backlash for their career. On the right of that, we have transient. So it looks like a transformation is available as well. And I was getting the imagery of, that bird, the rising phoenix. I think it's the bird, right? The rising phoenix, how it comes up from the ashes. It's giving that energy, and it's giving me this energy of like transcending or going through the fire. And I'm hearing the words social expectation. So going through the fire that is social expectations and the many thoughts or opinions or projections that others may have regarding it. And it's giving me this feeling of like not being affected by it in its own way, even though this is a transformational moment or event or happening, opportunity. But it's like it's giving me this energy of a quote that I seen, which I think is a African proverb, which is the truth passes through fire and does not burn. Is giving this energy with the transient card here, like us following our dreams, goals, desires, our passions, answering the calls, and how the world or how people will react to that, and moving past that or getting through that. And then underworld, yeah, with the last card being underworld is definitely giving me this energy of like self-study or looking into topics that are taboo or that are different from what other people may think or something. And I think I'm getting some reactions of other people. So someone is concerned about someone reacting to something that they do, either for work or for play or just for their interest or their self-study or their advocacy, like something that's important to them. And other people perceiving it as like taboo or it's weird or it's like that group. It's like hush, mm, like people don't know how to feel about it. Okay, underneath the anguish and the responsibility card, we have decay. Decay. So earlier we were talking about how whatever you've been working on or working towards, or this calling that you've been answering, we were talking about with the plant card how like whatever it is that you've been working on has been shown to be fruitful. There's living organisms. It is alive. It is prospering. It is flourishing. We also have the decay card, and this is reminding me that uh, to understand all stages of life. So it's giving me this energy of like something that could be perceived negatively. I feel like for me personally, sometimes my spiritual team like gives me grace in regards to certain things that I'm going through or new obstacles that I have. Like I feel like if I have a really challenging period, like they'll send me someone that's helpful or they'll connect me to someone that's very informative or something like that. But and that kind of like helps to soothe the anxiety that I'm already dealing with in life. And I feel like our spiritual team is saying like there is a part of this transitional period or this new era that everybody collectively is going into. Something is going to happen that feels like you could like start to think negatively or you could like interpret it as bad, but there something about the circumstance our spiritual team is gonna like help us, give us grace in some way that shows us that we can get out of it or overcome it or get through it or prosper despite it, that type of energy. And so what is this about? Because I'm definitely getting third eye energy with this day decay card. And it's kind of like, okay, I'm hearing the word perspective because I'm like, okay, so what's the point? What do they really want to see? Like, what do we really need to know to make sure that we pass this test obstacle challenge? And it's perspective. So it's like we could look at it negatively, but if we pass the test and maintain our perspective, then we will successfully pass this challenge. And that's where the paradigm is coming into, because I'm hearing the word paradigm. Or you can think of like jumping timelines, that type of energy. And those two are not really terms that I've ever really just used before. I hear a lot of people talk about jumping timelines, and for a long time I didn't understand it, but I think I have a perspective on it now that makes sense to me. But it's definitely giving like more this new obstacle challenge event that's coming towards us feels more like a mental test. But I mean, they say that everything is mental anyway, so I guess. But yeah, perspective, and that is going to bring us into a new paradigm. It's kind of like, you know how people exercise affirmations or talk about affirmations and how you can reprogram your subconscious mind through using affirmations. Also, maintaining a positive perspective, positive self-talk. That's what I was trying to think of. Positive self-talk to yourself. So how do you talk to yourself or think of yourself? And how do you talk to others about your circumstance? When you do that so many times, like using affirmations one thing, but also like in real life opportunities where something in your life happens and you get the opportunity to exercise this aspect that you're trying to improve on or change your mindset so that you can be in a position to receive abundance, receive prosperity, receive blessings, receive opportunities. Feels like someone has been actively practicing those things, and because of that, like their new reality is forming. That is thus the transitional era, the new era that everybody is collectively walking into and being presented with. So it's definitely giving, taking form. So that's why I said like this feels really significant to me, because I feel like a lot of spiritualists be like, maybe it's just that they've been talking about it for so long. But I just feel like sometimes people are just like, it's here, it's here, it's coming, it's coming. It's just like, dang, if that's the case, just chill. So yeah, anyways, I'm going off on tangent. Right next to that, we have attachment in reverse. Yeah, so like I said, something's gonna happen that we could look at it negatively, but it'll be like an exercise to be welcoming to universal changes, be open to evolution, and if something like devastating happens, to kind of hold that energy of understanding that everything happens for a reason, or everything's always working out for your good, and that you are equipped. With the abandonment in reverse, it's not being attached to, I guess, what our lives are right now, because it definitely feels like something that disrupts or changes your daily habits or your way of life, your lifestyle as well. And I find that interesting because earlier we were talking about for some people this is like their career or something about their career or their extracurricular activity or something they do for fun, something that's like really a part of their life. And it's also a part of their identity being taboo to other people. And so I feel like for some people, a part of that may be you doing it or being yourself more authentically almost puts you in a position where your lifestyle changes. So it's kind of like going from doing something as a hobby to being a professional and taking it more seriously. And because of that, your lifestyle changes. And it feels like unexpected. Like you didn't realize it all in what ways that taking this thing seriously would change your life. Or this calling, this purpose, whatever you've been directed to do, or the direction you've been told to go in. Then next to that we have Earth in reverse. Hmm. Mm-mm. Earth in reverse. And next to that we have potential in reverse. So this potential feels very poignant or very palpable, feels very tangible. Like it's definitely there. And it kind of feels like the spiritual energy or the calling has gotten, if the calling was the air, it just got thicker. I'm done. That's hilarious, bruh. So this is the potential card in reverse. And the potential, it feels like knowing spiritual practices, energy. It's kind of like things have become, it's, it's, it's like things have become more prominent or more palpable. Like you can feel it, you can sense it more. So it's giving that energy of something that I said earlier in the reading where it's like everybody got the call, you got the email, and then the spiritual team was like, nah, we seen you read the message. So I was like, oh, they're not playing. Like everybody has been called, everyone has been contacted. That type of energy. So it's just like everybody is more aware now of energy. Everybody is more aware now of what growth looks like or what direction to go in or what they should be doing or what they should be working on or how they should be improving. Like everybody knows. And it feels like there's an opportunity for this potential card energy to be something that you can enjoy, but it's almost giving this energy of like you could take this or you could not take this. Oh, wow. Let me see. Hold on. What? Okay. And I'm also getting this energy of like, it's giving the energy of maybe eating your vegetables or doing something that you don't prefer to do or is not pleasurable to do, but it being like a superfood later or very beneficial later. Underneath, under current deck is, card is balance. So yeah, that's those cards. That was the Oracle, the Illuminated Earth Oracle. Now I'm going to switch to my Astro Soul Oracle deck. I didn't realize I was using two oracles. I love how I read oracle cards like tarot cards. Sometimes, like, it's not that, like, you don't take them as one more serious than the other, but tarot card is, like, really known for getting all the details. And I guess it still does, but for oracles, it's just like, I get just as powerful or insightful messages using them as I do. I mean, why wouldn't I? I don't know what my point is. Let's see. I need to clean these. Okay. Thank you, angels, guides, ancestors, God, source, and benevolent energies that stand true to love. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for the protection. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That felt great. And half of the deck fell out. But first, I have these cards here. So let's go through them. Top of the deck, top of the spread, we have the square in reverse. And it feels like something that you see as an obstacle, or going back to this idea of someone could look at this negatively, they could look at this as a stop sign, they could look at this as a reason to be discouraged or to stop, but they don't have to. And our spiritual team is wanting us to, like, exercise being solid, standing 10 toes down. I said 2 toes, 10 toes down. Then we have Leo in reverse. We were talking about courage earlier. So that's something that we need to continue to exercise, practice, cultivate. Courage, courage, courage. And we have on the right of that Vesta. Vesta, and the key word for Vesta is devotion. So being devoted to our cultivation of courage, expressing ourselves, showing ourselves, pursuing our passions. Underneath the square in reverse, we have sextile. So I'm definitely getting pivot energy with the sextile card. And on the right of the sextile card, we have the North Node. So we could be discouraged and stop, or we could pivot, or we can exercise all the things that we've been learning and cultivating over the last year to get through this next challenge. On the right of the spread, we have I know. I've been working on that as well recently. The affirmation I know. And I think it's very powerful because there are certain things that we do know. We just know spiritually if we do or don't want to do something, or if we should or shouldn't do something, or the direction that we want to go in. The problem usually is of like getting past all the negative perceptions and self-doubt and ideas and opinions and ways of doing that we've basically been force-fed and exemplified all of our lives. So once we can get past that and we get connected to our body, where we are acknowledging our energy levels, we're acknowledging our wants, needs, desires, that puts you and that puts us in tune with our body, which being in tune with ourselves is us being in tune with the outside world as it's reflected that way. Earlier with the Oracle deck, I was saying that I was getting some third eye energy, so having or exercising a higher knowing, exercising your perception. I know. This is the house of higher and elevated thought as well as expansion. It covers long distance travels, foreign languages, inspiration, optimism, publications, higher education, spirituality, philosophy, religion, ideals, morals, and ethics. I know. So that's coming out in the choice point position. So we're all being presented with an opportunity to choose. What timeline are we choosing? What perspective are we choosing? What path are we choosing? What direction are we choosing? What topics are we choosing? Are we choosing others or ourselves? That type of energy. Underneath that, we have I belong with the fourth house. So with I know and I belong together, it's giving this energy of like belonging to yourself, knowing yourself, feeling at home with yourself because you love yourself, feeling comfortable within yourself, exerting yourself comfortably, like expressing yourself in a way that communicates to others that you love yourself and you know yourself and you feel confident in yourself and you feel confident in your body. You feel confident in being who you want to be, being who you desire to be, being and doing what you desire to do in ways that allow you to show up as an authentic leader, an authentic example, someone that is giving everyone else around them an idea, an inkling, something to be inspired by. Like they see you and people are just like, maybe they can't put their finger on it, or they don't want to say anything, or they don't know what to say, but it's something about what you're doing and the way that you're doing it and the reason that you're doing it that really makes people think. It makes people pause. It makes people self-reflect. And it influences or inspires them in a way that it actually creates movement. And it's definitely giving embodiment because you're not verbalizing this, but you are communicating this through your actions and through exercising your individuality, your authority, your power. your self-expression, your identity, something about you being witnessed through that really helps give other people a leverage or a step or a guide, a path. Definitely giving this energy of like people been knowing that they've been trailblazers for a long time. They've been on this journey, and now people are starting to notice. It's giving that energy. Or people are starting to know, like they noticed you a long time ago, and that's a whole nother segment about, the thoughts and opinions others have had on you when you first started the journey, when you first started taking steps after having gotten the call. But it's like you're gaining traction now. That's the energy. And it's significant because a lot of times people try to show or tell other people by preaching at them. And whoever this reading is for is like you've been embodying it, you've been taking action. You haven't really been doing that much talking, but people are seeing that. They're starting to see the progress that you have been making. Period. And so that's making people be like, huh. So I see other people like trying to try the things that you're doing, and they're trying to use whatever you've been doing as a way to help them find themselves. It feels like it's starting as like someone, when someone is inspired by someone, but they're really still in their style. I see some people doing that, but then transitioning to being more authentic because it's a genuine inspiration. So it's giving me this energy that, how we talk about people that will personally just jack your style, like jack your design, all that type of stuff. It's giving that energy of like people use it as leverage, but the inspiration is so divine. The inspiration is so divine that like they really have no desire to stay in that energy of imitation. Like they really want to find their own authentic expression. And I believe that's why this Neptune card came out in the choice point position. It's like you've shown people in whatever this field or this hobby, this goal that you have is, the way that you've been going after it really makes people be like, I want to go for my dreams. Shit. That's what they're like. I want to go for my dreams. I was quoting Glorilla a couple weeks ago. I was like, I forgot what it was though. I forgot exactly how it went, but one of her songs where she was like, oh, she said, I ain't worried about no credit. I might be rich tomorrow. Like, dang, for real. That's the energy. Like, people are like, they seen you like at first when you first started over a year ago, people were like, I don't know about that. But now you're getting traction. People are like, well, I be damn. It's giving that energy. Well, I be damn. So we have Gemini. We have the last quarter, transition, letting go, forgiveness, adaptation. Transition. Interesting. Then we have the first house, I am, and that's coming out underneath the north node. Then we have Pisces in reverse. We have the second house. I have the Wanding Crescent, surrender, restore, reflection, intuition. I do sixth house, void of course, pause in time, change of plans, limbo, improvisation. So with the void of course, we talked about something we could perceive as negative, but it's something that we can overcome, and our spiritual team is actually going to make an effort to help us through it because they know it's challenging and they want us to see it work out for us. Then we have stellium, reinforcement, and concentration. Yep. And then we have Aries. So these last three cards with void of course, stellium, reinforcement, and Aries coming out. It's kind of like being steadfast, standing tall, remembering your vision, remembering your mission, remembering your values in regards to this transitional period. And I'm hearing stand the test of time. So it definitely feels like answering to the legacy, answering to the call type of energy. Really embodying your personal identity. It's going to be monumental. It's going to be something that you can look back on, that you will always say, like, this was a transitional period in my life, or this was a significant period in my life. This is where the rubber met the road. This is where I found out what I was made of. It's giving that energy here. So I want to break down these cards that came out earlier that I was reading because I didn't know. So Gemini, the last quarter, the first house, which is I am, Pisces in reverse. Second house, I have Wanding Crescent, and the sixth house in reverse, I do. This is giving me an energy of something that it's like we could almost miss the train, or we could almost forget something, or we can almost slip and fall. So I was seeing someone like trying to walk up a rock, but it has that slippery moss on it, and one of their feet slipped, but they didn't fall. They caught their grass, but it was still like that was close. Discernment is coming up. Having a strong third eye, or having strong mental clarity, having a firm vision. So it's definitely giving this energy of holding the vision, holding your intention, maintaining your belief in, I'm hearing miracles, I'm hearing value and manifestation, blessings. That's so weird. For some reason, I feel like there's some form of differentiation or comparison. It's like something about our previous accomplishments and titles. They're very prosperous still, like they have their own type of blessing. But spiritual team is giving me this feeling of like, but they're replaceable, or there's something better, or there's something more. And it's very interesting because it almost feels like that energy of like, I don't want a new one. I don't want a new jacket. This one's perfect. I don't want a new couch. This one's perfect. It's got it's got my dent in it, or like it's broken in just fine. And it's something that is very cherished. You've put a lot of time, energy, and effort into it. You've loved it, you nurtured it. It's a part of you now. Like the couch is a family member now. Like, and our spiritual team is like, this is something. It's giving me this energy of like, I know that this couch is so important to you, but it's time for us to upgrade. Like we've upgraded everything else in our house. And I just like, I think it would be great for us to have a fresh new energy. And the other person is just like, no, like this has been with us for like, I like they're just like naming off different periods of their life that couch has been in their life, and just like, bruh. So it's giving that energy. But like I said, the couch or whatever material thing this is, it feels like it does still have energy. It has intention. It has like, because it's still loved and how much this person loves it, like has its own energy. So it's giving me the energy of like when people make candles for other people to help them manifest or bring something in or attract something, or when someone writes a love letter and they give it to someone, or someone buys someone flowers in the hospital and make them a get well card. That energy transfer, like it's still on there, and every time that person looks at it, it makes them think of that person, and also they start to feel the love or the joy. It helps. Those things help. um it's giving me this energy that whatever this old thing is that we actually cherish and we loved, and it's somehow tied to our reputation, our character, our credentials, our certificates, our identity somehow. Spiritual team is saying like, it's time to upgrade, it's time to get something new, it's time to try something different. And you getting rid of it or letting it go doesn't have to be a negative thing. It doesn't have to be a poor event. And your spiritual team is like, I'm not saying throw it away. I'm saying like, give it to someone else less fortunate, or give it to someone else in need. Like, allow someone else to have this experience with it. And they're trying to rationalize with us, like I'm getting imagery of a child. So you've probably seen that meme of um or you probably seen a video of someone washing their dog's favorite stuffed animal or something like that, and how they be like so sad and so worried. Or maybe if it's time to replace it, how they're just like, they're so attached to this, but it's like, yes, but this is so icky. Or like, yes, but you've outgrown this. Yes, but you're in a different frequency, like you're on a different vibe. You need this visual representation, so that's gonna complement your psyche and the paradigm or the timeline that you're trying to experience now. It's gonna help the atmosphere, that type of energy. Um, and our spiritual team is saying like, I'm not saying it's trash. We don't have to take it to the dumpster. Like, it's definitely a seed, and it could be planted and enjoyed by someone else, or like it's giving the energy of giving to the earth, or like feeding nature. It's giving that energy. So yeah, your partner's like, you're like, oh no, I love this thing. And it's just like, someone would love to wear this. And they're just like, fine. And they take it to Goodwill or something like that. and someone else, like, it's like it's not new, but it's new to me, that type of energy. So the joy someone else is going to be able to experience, and someone's trying on a jacket at Goodwill, and they're feeling really good because they're glad that they decide to go to the thrift store that day, and they really like this jacket. They felt like they found a good find. Like, this is that type of energy. Like, yeah, I'm about to rock this. So it's not going in vain. It's not going to waste. Let's see, is there anything else that we need to know regarding this reading? Is there anything else that we need to know? It's so toxic because I feel like this throws out so many cards. So we have the first quarter, making decisions, obstacles, taking action, momentum. That's pretty much the energy here. Spiritual teams like keep up the momentum. It's the final exam coming up, the final test or challenge. Your perception is going to be tested. Your third eye is going to be tested. And it's not so much of like peering through, but it's like maintaining focus, mental energy, mental discipline, mental like um positive self-talk. Like, how strong is it? We have the fifth house, I create. Yeah, creating, like, by maintaining your optimism, it's almost like you actually have an effect on your environment as well, or your environment responds to your thoughts. Actually, that's what it feels like. Spiritual team is saying. Then we have Uranus, innovation, discovery, individuality, technology. With the Uranus coming out under the first quarter, making decisions and obstacles, just feels like um, maintaining. So it's definitely giving me this energy of like maintaining your opinion, even if you've expressed something, but nobody else in the room agrees or something like that. Not being shaken. We talked about that, what you value. Then we have Wand and Crescent in reverse. Surrender, restore, reflection, intuition. Oh, I think that was a previous card too. Sorry, those are cards I had already pulled. Then we have the eighth card, I transform. It's in reverse. I don't know, something about this thing coming up feels challenging for some reason. It's like, will you still remember your why when faced with adversities? Then we have Capricorn in the resistant position, and again it's giving me this energy of like, some people when this event comes, they're gonna be like, fuck this shit, bruh. And it's just like, wow. Why spiritual team like, wow? Spiritual teams give you that extra like, wow. Like, don't gaslight us. First of all, we done swim across the ocean to get here. Don't be trying to play us. But they're like, my point exactly, or our point exactly. Like, you really came all this far. It's kind of like you swam from the US to a whole nother island and survived. and you got there and the environment has changed and your lifestyle has changed and you're like, fuck this shit. Fuck this shit. Like you had a whole episode and they're just like, really? You already got through the hardest part. You're gonna break down now? Like, that's what they're saying. So Capricorn in reverse, where it's like, it's something that we can identify that it's like, okay, mental agility, but we're just like, no, we're done. It's supposed to be smooth sailing from here. And I can't say I disagree. Then underneath that we have trine in the choice point position. Fluency, ease, talent, development, privilege, aptitude, self-comfort, temper, laziness, intelligence. So heavy on the first few words, which was fluency, ease, talent, development. When I was talking about earlier, our spiritual team said we're going to have a challenge and our minds are going to be tested, but they're also going to throw in some, I'm hearing, favors. Spiritual team is also going to throw in some favors. So when I was saying, like, I feel like when I go have a challenging moment, like, spiritual team will at least set me up with some helpful people, or I will find ease in getting to the location, something like that. Because they know it's already hard on me. So I have achieve in reverse with the 10th house. Yeah, it definitely feels like self-doubt trying to come in and make you throw away everything that you have. Is really weird because from our perspective, like if we were to talk about this, we would be like, dude, you already did all the hardest parts. But it's like in reality, we are all susceptible to it. So I'm getting this energy of like someone is a writer, they've written books, they've been featured in articles, or they've written articles, like they have different projects that they've worked on that has created what would be considered their body of work, their portfolio, and they've been working to get to a certain point, and there's like this threshold energy with it, between them, the challenge, and the gain, the abundance that's supposed to be available to them through exercising this authority, this knowing that they have. But something about this challenge makes them feel like makes them feel like it makes them question everything all over again. It makes them question everything all over again. So that's why focus came up earlier too, with the oh, I lost the card, but it was like reinforced. Then we have Mercury on the side of this 10th house I achieve. And it's like communication is going to be beneficial, self-talk, thinking, affirmations, positive thinking, how you communicate in any way, shape, or form, body language, all paddles or propels you forward. And it's almost like giving me this energy of like you could almost think that you're not going anywhere, or you can almost think that this is not enough, or it's the energy of the last leg in a track meet on that last 100, how sometimes depending on how you've been training or your mindset, it could be really hard to really convince yourself to kick it up a notch on that last 100. But through practice, through our efforts in the last year, not this year really, I was getting more like last year, as in this is not something new to you, whatever you've been cultivating. You've been working on it for at least 2 years. Something about this transition is challenging in a way where it makes you feel like you're going in slow motion, like in a dream or a nightmare, where people feel like they can't run or they run really slow. And it's also this energy of like uh, people that exercise inside water or exercise in the water or in a pool. Is giving therapy sessions, when they have the dogs or just people that have lost um, the ability to control their mobility in their legs, how they have to slowly but surely build up that memory again, is giving that energy. So I think that is significant because with this transition that's coming up, we can almost start to think of our circumstance or the event as a negative thing. And I'm hearing the word curse, like someone's thinking like, I'm cursed. Like they're thinking it's over with or something. But spiritual team is like really trying to test our faith. They're testing our vision. They're testing our willpower. They're testing our mind, our mentality, our mental agility. So it's kind of like I said, they're trying to take strokes, but they can almost think that that is not working and get tired and get discouraged and then just stop swimming altogether. But the wisdom, the third eye energy is coming in like discerning that you're making progress regardless of how it feels. It feels like a new challenge. So someone that runs on the treadmill, sometimes they may have the treadmill flat, or sometimes they may choose to elevate it. That's the way that the difference in this new chapter, this new era, this new challenge that's coming up, event, it makes people feel like they're going from running on the treadmill to like an incline. And it's uncomfortable. They may not realize it at first. It's kind of like, dang, I can't get up here. But spiritual team's like, no, you just gotta go a little slower. Or no, you just have to move a little bit differently. Like you may have been running like this, but maybe you have to work out like a different type of motion. Like you have to go side to side. You have to be flexible. You might have to walk a little different or talk a little different or believe in yourself, express yourself, be more of yourself, and that looks different. And we was getting earlier in the reading something about a lifestyle change. With a choice that we made to answer the call or to pursue our passion or to do or go in the direction that we were being called to go in, we didn't realize by taking it seriously what all lifestyle changes may be required. Period. So we have the 8th house, I think, in reverse. The 8th house can represent psychology or deeper truths that have to be found by specifically searching for, doing research, that type of energy, looking into something that's been hidden intentionally. With that coming out in reverse is giving this energy of, let's see, house of the mind and ideas. Here's where we see the concrete thinking, thoughts, communication, mental agility, and the capacity to relate to the most immediate and daily social environment like siblings or neighbors. I forgot what I was going to say with that. Psychology. It feels like a feeling. Yeah, I was saying earlier, someone that this reading is for, something about their hobby or what they like to do, or something that's tied to their identity or their career, is viewed as taboo by other people, or people don't know how to feel about that, or it's something that's like people don't really talk about or something. It's giving me this energy of acceptance with the eighth house in reverse. And it's going back to perception for you. So there's this energy of like, maybe at one point I was, or I am now, but I am realizing how to help me get out of this frame of thinking. And the frame of thinking is going from knowing that what you do is different or taboo, or that other people may twist it or interpret it different ways that are more than likely negative. Going from being self-conscious about that to being more like having this attitude of like, honestly, it's really not that deep, or honestly, it's really not that complex or hard to understand. And it's giving me this energy of like, y'all be doing this anyway and not even realizing that's what you're doing. So it's kind of like giving me this energy of, say, a person or a group of people is just like, oh my gosh, that's witchcraft. Or someone being like, oh my gosh, you're a stripper, or like you do. I'm trying to think of another job that is maybe not as controversial, but it might be something like that where people are just like, and the perspective that this person is having, or our spiritual team is encouraging us to have, is more like, it's like, strippers are paying taxes now. What do you mean? Like this whole, I don't know. It's just kind of like this energy of not being ashamed of yourself, not being ashamed of your work, not being ashamed of your interest, not being ashamed of doing what you need to do to survive. But it's not necessarily giving me like a low vibrational type of energy, though. That's the thing. But it feels like in the past, or yeah, in the past, you didn't really know what to do with that type of energy. But now it's just like the work that you've been doing, you feel more and more comfortable with yourself and who you are. That it's like it's lost its shock value for you. Now, some like when people have those reactions, you're like, oh yeah, like it's not like, yeah, I do that. Yes. And that ties back to the different aspects of this reading that was talking about the importance of communication, the way that you're thinking, the way that you're speaking to others about your circumstance, or the way that you're expressing your self-talk, how you're expressing the messages, or what you're communicating through your body language, and what you're communicating with the universe through your actions. All of those forms of communication are very important. They're very spiritual. They're very, they're one of the aspects we were talking about earlier with the Oracle card that connects you to yourself, being connected to your body, knowing yourself, all of that. It's like it activates something. It makes you stronger. It helps you to be more grounded in who you are and what you're going after, all that good stuff. So be mindful of what you're communicating. Then next to that, we have Sacred Union, which is represented by Juno, and it's coming out in reverse. And that came out on top of a card I didn't see previously. Solar eclipse, embracing change, revelations, courage, determination, connection. Tell me this is not what we've been talking about this whole time. Embracing change, that pivotal moment or transitional period that everybody's going through. Revelations, realizing that things are not going to shit. Maybe I can change my perspective or be open to things that are out of my control. Courage, actively going out for our needs. Determination, maintaining our vision despite obstacles and challenges. Connection, what we've been talking about with our spiritual team and what we're communicating. That coming out under sacred union, quit playing. Quit playing. So yeah. Then next to that we have Cancer in reverse. So these things we may still need work on with Juno, sacred union, and Cancer both coming out in reverse. So staying in tune with your body, understanding that just because your body is experiencing anxiety or just because your body is experiencing depression doesn't mean that something's wrong. Taking it as a message, so your body is communicating with you. It's kind of like when you're in a relationship and you're trying to communicate something to someone and the first thing they do is shut down and like ghost the situation. It's just like, I'm not even saying I want to break up. Like, I'm not even saying that there's a problem. I'm just saying like, well, I'm saying there's a problem, but I'm saying like, let's work on it, let's address it. And it's kind of like being in a relationship with someone that just, they instantly just, that's their first thought is the disconnect. And it's just like, that leaves so much unresolved issues, that habit over time. And it feels like it's not constructive. We're not getting things done. We're not actually building our bond because we haven't learned to trust each other. So spiritual team is saying like being mindful of that, or understanding that within the context of this topic, what we're talking about, ourselves, our identity, self-expression, aligned action, holding the vision, going for our goals, pursuing our passions, expressing ourselves. So on top of the Cancer in reverse, or underneath, we have Venus, love, pleasure, values, possessions. Yeah, the second house came out earlier in reverse, so it was giving this energy of going back to the couch energy. It's kind of like, this thing is important to me. It's been a part of my life for a long time. I cherish it. And I am also open to the upgrades that my spiritual team has for me, or the blessings that are available to me. And I'm going to bless someone else with this. Then we have the Sun card in reverse, falling on top of Mercury. The Sun, self-expression, ego, creativity, identity. So we're finding our identity. We're continuously finding and building and understanding our identity through communication in all the many forms. Then we have Virgo and the full moon, energy peak, harvest, blessings, achievement. So yeah, definitely that energy of blessings, achievement, harvest. Love that for us. So great things are available to us. I would suggest that we continue meditating, continue like maintaining our emotional regulation, exercise our vision, positive self-talk. All those things help propel us forward. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this reading. If you'd like to contribute to my readings, you can do so by visiting the link in the comment section. You can contribute to my readings by visiting my Amazon store. And if you would like to learn more about my readings, you could do so by going to visit my website, which will also be in the comment section. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. Bye.